I stand alone in an auditorium filled with celebrating families, staring at 8 empty VIP seats I spent $13,000 to reserve for my family's cross-country flights. My phone buzzes with a group text from my mother, aunt, and siblings, sent from a cruise ship departing Miami. The message includes a photo of them toasting champagne with the caption, "Watching you pretend to be a doctor sounds painful. We'd rather be somewhere worth celebrating." My hands shake as my classmates' families rush the stage around me, while I stand completely alone in my white coat. The dean's voice echoes through the speakers, calling another name. Another graduate crosses the stage to thunderous applause from their section. I look down at my phone again, hoping I misread the message. But no. There they are. My mother Linda, my younger brother Chad, my younger sister Amber, and Aunt Donna, all grinning on the deck of a cruise ship. The timestamp shows the photo was taken 20 minutes ago. I try to process what just happened as families around me embrace their graduates. My chest feels tight. For 4 years, I imagined this moment. I'm the first person in my family to attend college, let alone medical school. Back home in our small Nebraska town, nobody goes to medical school. My high school guidance counselor told me to be realistic and consider community college. But I pushed forward anyway. My family never understood. They called medical school my pretend doctor phase. Every time I came home for holidays, exhausted from rotations, they'd ask when I was going to get a real job. When I tried to explain the residency match process, my mother would sigh and change the subject. Aunt Donna loved to joke at family gatherings that I was too good for everyone now, studying my fancy books while they worked real jobs. But despite all their ridicule, I desperately wanted them here. I wanted them to see that I actually did it. That their small-town kid who they said was reaching too high had become a doctor. I wanted to prove I wasn't pretending. So I saved for 2 years. During my 3rd and 4th year rotations, I worked night shifts at the hospital doing medical transcription. While my classmates slept, I typed up patient notes for $8 an hour. Every spare dollar went into an account labeled Family Graduation Fund. By last month, I had $13,200 saved. I booked them first-class tickets from Lincoln to Seattle. Round trip. I reserved a luxury suite at the Fairmont Olympic Hotel for 3 nights. I paid extra for VIP graduation seating, the section right up front with cushioned chairs and programs with their names printed inside. I arranged a celebration dinner at Canlis, one of Seattle's finest restaurants. The reservation alone cost $300 to hold. They confirmed attendance 6 months ago, then again at 3 months, then at 1 month. Last week, my mother texted, "Can't wait to see our doctor. So proud." I should have known something was wrong. She never said she was proud of me. Hank Morrison, the dean, calls my name. I walk toward the stage on autopilot. My legs feel disconnected from my body. Around me, cameras flash. Families cheer. I hear nothing but white noise. I climb the steps, shake the dean's hand, and accept my diploma. The document I worked 8 years to earn. 4 years of undergraduate, destroying my GPA to stand out. 4 years of medical school, sleeping 4 hours a night, studying until I couldn't see straight. I hold the diploma and look out at the audience. Somewhere in the back, I spot my roommate Trevor with his family. They're clapping for me. Bless them. But the 8 VIP seats in the center section, 3rd row, sit empty. The printed name cards are visible even from the stage. Linda Morrison, Chad Morrison, Amber Morrison, Donna Fletcher. I walk off the opposite side of the stage. A photographer asks if I want a family photo. I shake my head and keep walking. In the hallway outside the auditorium, I lean against the wall and finally look at my phone. There are more messages in the group chat. Aunt Donna. Besides, your dad's life insurance should have gone to all of us, not just your schooling. You're selfish. That cuts deeper than the cruise ship photo. My father died 4 years ago, right before I started medical school. Massive heart attack. At 52. He was a machinist at the plant, worked 60-hour weeks his whole life. He left behind a modest life insurance policy of $80,000. In his will, written 3 months before he died when he was diagnosed with early heart disease, he specified that the money go to me for medical education. Don't let them make you small, son, he told me from his hospital bed the week before he died. Be the doctor I knew you could be. I'm leaving you the means to do it. Don't let anyone tell you that's wrong. My family resented that will from day one. At the funeral, Aunt Donna made comments about how convenient it was that Dad left everything to me. My mother cried about how she'd struggle financially, even though Dad's pension and Social Security covered her house payment. Chad said, I stole his inheritance. Amber stopped speaking to me for 6 months, but I used that money exactly how Dad intended. Tuition, books, rent in expensive medical school cities, application fees for residency. It ran out halfway through 4th year, which is why I worked those night shifts. Every dollar of Dad's gift went toward becoming a physician. Another text comes through, this one from my mother. Don't be dramatic, Hank. It's just a ceremony. You'll have plenty more important days. We needed a vacation. We've been so stressed. They've been stressed. I think about the 100-hour weeks during surgical rotations. The patients I watched die during my ICU month. The 3-day stretch where I didn't leave the hospital because of back-to-back shifts. But they needed a vacation from their stress. I take a photo of my diploma. Then I walk back into the auditorium, where the ceremony is still ongoing. I make my way to the VIP section, now mostly empty as families have moved to congratulate their graduates. I photograph the 8 empty seats with their name cards clearly visible in the frame. There you are. Trevor jogs up to me, still in his graduation gown. His parents and sister trail behind him. Man, where's your family? I wanted to finally meet them. I show him my phone. His face goes from confused to horrified as he reads the texts. Are you kidding me? After everything you did to get them here. Trevor knows the whole story. We've been roommates for 3 years. He watched me work those night shifts. He covered for me when I was too exhausted to function. It's fine, I say, though my voice cracks. It's not fine. Trevor looks at his family. Mom, Dad, you guys go ahead to the restaurant. I need to talk to Hank. His mother, a kind woman who's treated me like a third son, pulls me into a hug. Congratulations, Dr. Morrison. Your father would be so proud. She doesn't know my family ditched, but somehow her words hit exactly right. I nearly lose it. Right there. After Trevor's family leaves, we sit in those empty VIP seats. He reads through all the messages, his jaw clenching tighter with each one. There's something I need to tell you, Trevor says finally. He looks sick. 2 weeks ago, your mother called me. What? She got my number from your phone last time you went home for Christmas, remember? When you let her use it to call Amber? Trevor runs his hand through his hair. She asked me to convince you to give up this doctor nonsense. Said the family needed that $13,000 more, then you needed to fly them out for some ceremony. She wanted me to tell you that you were being selfish, that real family support means financial support. I stare at him. 2 weeks ago? I didn't tell you because I honestly thought she was joking. I laughed and said, good one. See you at graduation. She just said okay and hung up. Trevor pulls up something on his phone. After I saw your text just now, I looked up cruise prices from Miami. A 7-day Caribbean cruise for 4 people, booked last minute with decent cabins. $12,800. The number hangs in the air between us. Almost exactly what I spent on their flights and accommodations. Not quite, but close enough that the math is obvious. They took your money, Trevor says quietly. They knew you were spending that much on them. They let you. And then they used it as a budget for their cruise instead. Something breaks inside me. Not the sad, disappointed break. The angry break. The done break. I stand up. I need to go. Hank, wait. Come to dinner with my family. Please. You shouldn't be alone. I'm not going to be alone, I tell him. I'm going to fix this. I spend my graduation night alone in my apartment, a studio in Capitol Hill that costs $1,800 a month. My white coat hangs on the back of the door. My diploma sits on the desk, and my phone keeps buzzing with calls from my mother. I ignore every single one. Instead, I stare at the photo on my desk. My father and me at my undergraduate graduation 4 years ago. He's beaming with pride, his arm around my shoulders. He was already sick then, though we didn't know it yet. 3 months later, he'd be diagnosed. 6 months after that, he'd be gone. Don't let them make you small, son. His voice echoes in my memory. I'm done being small. I open my laptop and start working. First, I write everything down in a timeline document. Every confirmation they gave me about attending. Every text message. Every phone call. I screenshot all of it. Then I download the cruise ship photo from the group chat and save it in a folder. Next, I log into my email and find all the receipts. 4 first-class round-trip tickets from Lincoln to Seattle. $4,800. Fairmont Olympic Hotel Suite for 3 nights. $2,400. VIP graduation seating package. $900. Canless restaurant reservation and prepaid deposit. $300. Airport town car service. $200. Total spent. $8,600. I'd rounded up to $13,000 in my head, because I'd also bought them graduation gift bags with Seattle souvenirs and planned to cover all their meals. I print everything. The confirmations. The receipts. The texts. The cruise photo. I include the printed itinerary showing they confirmed attendance just 6 days ago, when my mother called and asked what time the ceremony started so they wouldn't be late. Then I write a note by hand on my prescription pad. Yes, as a brand new MD, I now have prescription pads with my name. The irony of using one for this purpose isn't lost on me. Thank you for teaching me the most valuable lesson of my residency. Some patients can't be saved, and some family isn't worth the treatment. Enjoy the cruise I paid for. Don't contact me again. Dr. Hank Morrison, MD. I put everything in a large manila envelope. I address it to my mother's house in Nebraska. Then I pay for overnight delivery. It'll arrive tomorrow by 10 in the morning, guaranteed. But I'm not done. I open a new document and start writing. I keep it anonymous. No names, just facts. I saved for 2 years to fly my family first class to my medical school graduation. They confirmed attendance multiple times. The morning of my ceremony, they texted from a cruise ship that watching me pretend to be a doctor sounded painful. They'd rather be somewhere worth celebrating. The cruise cost almost exactly what I spent on their flights and hotel. I attach the photo of the empty VIP seats with name cards visible, though I blur the last names. I attach a photo of my diploma. I post it to my rarely used Twitter account with the caption, "When your family shows you who they are, believe them." I don't expect anything to happen. I have maybe 200 followers, mostly med school classmates and a few college friends. I just need to say it out loud. To make it real, I fall asleep at 3 in the morning. I wake up at 9 to my phone exploding. Not with calls from my mother, with notifications, Twitter notifications, hundreds of them, thousands. My post went viral. I scramble to open the app. My tweet has 40,000 likes and 15,000 retweets. The comments section is full of people sharing their own stories of family betrayal. People tagging their friends. People sending me messages of support. Then I see a notification that makes my stomach drop. A local Seattle news station account has commented, "DM us. We'd like to interview you for a story on family and achievement." By noon, 3 news outlets have reached out. By 2 in the afternoon, my post has 100,000 likes. Someone created a hashtag, Pretend Doctor. Medical students and residents across the country are sharing their own stories of families who didn't support them. My phone rings. It's a Nebraska number I don't recognize. I answer, "Dr. Morrison, this is Janet Chen from the Lincoln Journal-Star. We're doing a story on a viral post about a medical school graduation, and several people in our community believe it's about a local family. Can you confirm?" I freeze. I never named them. I never even mentioned Nebraska. But apparently someone recognized the story. In a town of 30,000 people, gossip travels fast. "I can't comment," I say, and hang up. Then I check the package tracking. Delivered at 9:53 in the morning. My mother has had that envelope for over 4 hours. As if on cue, my phone buzzes with a voicemail notification. Not a call. She left a message without ringing through, which means she called while I was on the other line. I put the phone on speaker and play it. "Hank, baby, please, you have to take that post down. Everyone knows. Everyone. Pastor Mike called me this morning asking if it was true. My book club canceled on me. Donna got called into her manager's office, and they're putting her on suspension, pending an investigation for moral character. Chad can't show his face at the gym. Amber's fiance's mother called off the wedding. Please, honey, I'm begging you. We made a mistake, okay? We're sorry. But you're destroying our lives. This is cruel. You're being vindictive and cruel." The message ends. I play it again. I listen to every word. Not once does she say she's sorry for missing my graduation. Not once does she acknowledge what they did was wrong. She's only sorry they got caught. She's only upset that their reputation in their small town is destroyed. I delete the voicemail. My post stays up. 2 weeks later, I'm standing in my new apartment in Seattle, unpacking boxes. I moved across the country for my residency at Harbor Medical Center, one of the most prestigious internal medicine programs on the West Coast. I matched there back in March, months before graduation. It's a dream position. I changed my phone number. I blocked my entire family on social media. I gave Trevor strict instructions not to share any information about where I'm living or working. I need a fresh start. My viral post eventually died down after a week, though I still get supportive messages from strangers occasionally. For the first time in years, I feel light. Free. I'm about to start the career I've worked my entire adult life to achieve, and I'm doing it without the weight of my family's judgment and resentment. My first day of residency is tomorrow. I lay out my white coat, check my stethoscope, set 3 alarms. I barely sleep from excitement. The next morning, I arrive at the hospital at 6 in the morning for orientation. The other first-year residents are already in the conference room. 24 of us total. We introduce ourselves, share where we went to medical school, what specialty we're considering after intern year. Everyone is nervous and excited. At 8, our residency director walks in. Dr. Patricia Holloway is a legend in internal medicine, published over 100 papers, known for being tough but fair. She welcomed us warmly during interview season. I'm honored to train under her, but today, her face is stern. She scans the room, and her eyes land on me. "Dr. Morrison, I need you to come with me, please." The room goes silent. Every resident stares at me. I feel my face burn as I stand, and follow her out. We walk down 2 hallways to her office. She closes the door behind us. "Have a seat," she says. Her voice is tight. I sit. My heart pounds. Dr. Holloway opens her laptop and turns it to face me. "I received this email 3 days ago. I've been trying to decide how to handle it. And frankly, hospital administration has now gotten involved." I read the email on her screen. The sender is listed as Linda Morrison. The subject line: urgent safety concern regarding Dr. Hank Morrison. The email alleges that I have severe emotional instability, that I was nearly expelled from medical school for erratic behavior, that I have a documented history of threatening family members, that my diploma may be fraudulent because I didn't actually complete all my requirements. It includes attachments, what appears to be letters from my medical school dean citing behavioral concerns, a police report from Nebraska about threatening phone calls I allegedly made, and a psychiatric evaluation declaring me unfit for patient care. None of it is real. Not one word. Dr. Morrison. Dr. Holloway says carefully, I want to be clear that I don't believe these allegations. I've already contacted your medical school, and they confirmed your graduation and that you have no disciplinary record. However, hospital administration has protocols for any allegation involving patient safety. I'm required to place you on suspension pending a full investigation. You're suspending me? My voice comes out strangled. It's temporary. We'll expedite the investigation. But I can't allow you to see patients until we've cleared this formally. I'm sorry. Those documents are fake. She made them up. She's my mother, and she's doing this because I wouldn't delete a social media post about her. I believe you, Dr. Holloway says, and she sounds genuine. But my hands are tied. Hospital legal is involved. They're concerned about liability. The investigation will prove everything is false, and then you'll be reinstated immediately. How long will that take? She hesitates. 2 to 3 weeks, possibly more. 2 to 3 weeks of my residency, gone. While my co-residents start their training, I'll be sitting at home under suspicion. I think of the looks on their faces in that conference room. By now, rumors are already spreading. I need you to surrender your badge and hospital access until this is resolved, Dr. Holloway says quietly. Security will escort you out. I'm truly sorry, Hank. This is procedural, not personal. 20 minutes later, I'm standing in the hospital parking lot, badge confiscated, while my colleagues are upstairs starting their first day as doctors. I'm humiliated, devastated, furious. My new phone rings. It's Trevor. Did you get an email from your program? I ask before he says hello. Yeah, something from your mom trying to say you're unstable. My program director called me in. Asked if I had concerns about you. I told her your mom is retaliating for your viral post, and that you're the most stable, ethical person I know. She believed me. Why? They suspended me pending investigation. Trevor swears. Are you serious? Based on obviously fake documents? Patient safety protocols. They have to investigate any allegation. This is insane. I'm so sorry, man. Trevor pauses. There's more. She didn't just email your program. She sent similar emails to my residency director, to our medical school dean, and according to the med school group chat, she filed a complaint with the medical licensing board. I lean against my car. My mother is trying to destroy my entire career. Every step I take forward, she's there, tearing it down. I'm going to fix this, I say, though I have no idea how. That afternoon, I'm sitting in my apartment, staring at the fake documents my mother created, when my doorbell rings. I'm not expecting anyone. Through the peephole, I see a man in a suit, probably mid-40s, holding a briefcase. I open the door. Can I help you, Dr. Morrison? My name is Marcus Sullivan. I'm an attorney specializing in defamation and harassment cases. He hands me a card. I saw your viral post a few weeks ago. I've been following the news coverage, and this morning, I saw something that I think you need to know about. What news coverage? Marcus pulls out his phone and shows me a screenshot. It's a Facebook post from Aunt Donna's account, public, posted 2 days ago. The post reads, Update for everyone asking. Yes, we're taking down Hank's fake doctor career. He humiliated us online, so we're destroying his dreams. Fair trade. He'll learn not to mess with family. The hospital already suspended him. Next stop. Taking away his license permanently. Below the post are comments from her friends congratulating her, laughing about it, calling me names. The post has been shared 37 times. This is actionable evidence of intentional defamation and conspiracy, Marcus says. Your aunt essentially confessed to coordinating a campaign to damage your professional reputation. Combined with the fraudulent documents sent to your employer and licensing board, you have grounds for a serious lawsuit. How did you find this? I have a Google alert set for stories related to your case. Someone screenshot this post and sent it to a medical student forum. It's spreading. I should feel vindicated. Instead, I feel exhausted. I don't have money for a lawsuit. I just lost my residency income. I have $230,000 in student loans coming due. I can't afford an attorney. Marcus sits down on my couch uninvited. I work on contingency for cases like this. You don't pay unless we win. And we'll win, Dr. Morrison. This is one of the most clear-cut defamation cases I've seen. Even if we win, lawsuits take years. My career is being destroyed right now, which is why we'll also file for an emergency injunction and expedited hearing. We can have a preliminary hearing within 2 weeks. Marcus leans forward. But I need to be honest with you. This will get ugly. Your family will fight back. They might escalate. And even with contingency, there are filing fees and costs you'll need to cover up front. Around $5,000. I don't have $5,000. After paying first and last month's rent on this apartment, deposits for utilities, and moving expenses, my savings are gone. My first residency paycheck was supposed to come in 2 weeks, but I'm suspended. No work means no pay. I'm facing financial ruin on top of career destruction. I need to think about it, I tell Marcus. He nods and stands. Don't think too long. Every day they continue this campaign, the damage gets worse. Call me when you're ready. After he leaves, I sit in silence. My phone buzzes. It's an email from my medical school loan servicer. My grace period ends in 1 week. First payment due, $2,300. Monthly. For the next 10 years. I put my head in my hands and finally let myself cry. 6 weeks pass. 6 weeks of the worst period of my life. The hospital investigation drags on because they're being overly cautious. Every step requires another level of approval. Every document my mother fabricated has to be officially debunked through formal channels. The medical school sends official letters. The police department in Nebraska confirms no such report exists. But the wheels of institutional bureaucracy turn slowly. Meanwhile, other residency programs I applied to start rescinding their backup offers. I get formal letters in the mail. Each one says essentially the same thing. Due to concerns about professional conduct, we are withdrawing our position offer. Someone contacted them. My mother. My aunt. Maybe both. I'll never know for sure. My medical school loans come due. $2,300. I don't have it. I call and beg for forbearance. They grant me 3 months. But interest keeps accruing. I watch my debt grow daily. I apply for jobs. Not doctor jobs. Anything. Medical scribe positions. The kind of work I did in medical school. I'm massively overqualified, but desperate. I get hired at an urgent care clinic across town for $16 an hour. It's humiliating, watching the physicians I'm scribing for, knowing I should be doing their job. But I need to pay rent. My apartment costs $1,800 a month. After taxes, working 40 hours a week at $16 an hour nets me about $2,200 monthly. I have $400 for food, utilities, transportation, and loan payments I can't afford. I eat ramen and peanut butter sandwiches. I stop leaving the house, except for work. Then it gets worse. I get a call from a detective in Nebraska. My mother filed a police report claiming I stole my father's inheritance. She's alleging that the will was forged, that I manipulated my dying father, that the money rightfully belonged to her as the surviving spouse. It's all false. The will is legitimate, notarized, filed with the county. But she filed the report, which means I now have to hire an attorney to deal with it. I call 3 criminal defense attorneys. The cheapest wants a $5,000 retainer just to review the case. I don't have $5,000. I don't have $500. After paying rent, I have $63 in my checking account. I stop answering my phone. I stop checking my email. I lie on my couch and stare at the ceiling for hours. Trevor calls repeatedly. I don't answer. He texts, "Answer your phone, or I'm flying to Seattle." I don't answer. 3 days later, he shows up at my apartment. He has a key from when he helped me move in. He opens the door and finds me in the same clothes I've been wearing for 4 days. The apartment is a disaster. Dishes piled in the sink. Trash overflowing. I haven't showered in a week. Okay, that's it. Trevor physically pulls me off the couch. Shower. Now. I'm not asking. I'm too tired to argue. I shower. When I come out, Trevor has cleaned my kitchen and is making eggs and toast. He forces me to eat. Then he takes my phone. What are you doing? Something you should have done weeks ago. He scrolls through my voicemail. You have 47 unheard messages. We're listening to all of them. Trevor. No. Yes. He puts the phone on speaker and plays the first voicemail. It's from my mother, dated 2 days after my suspension. Her voice is crying, apologetic. She begs me to call her back. She says she's sorry, that she made a terrible mistake. She sounds genuine. Trevor plays the next one. Similar. And the next. My mother sounds devastated. Broken. She says the family wants to fix this. That they'll do anything. But as we get to more recent messages, the tone changes. By message 20, her voice is harder. She's justifying the cruise. She's explaining that they needed a break from the stress of worrying about me. By message 30, she's angry. She accuses me of being ungrateful, of abandoning them, of choosing my career over family. The last voicemail, from yesterday, makes Trevor's jaw drop. You destroyed our lives, Hank. My mother screams into the phone. Donna lost her job. Chad can't find work anywhere because his name is mud in this town. Amber's wedding is off. Her fiancé's family wants nothing to do with us. We had no choice but to fight back. You did this. You posted that story online and humiliated us. We're just trying to survive. If you'd just taken down that post and apologized like a decent son, none of this would have happened. The message ends. Trevor and I sit in silence. She's blaming you, Trevor says quietly, for consequences of her own actions. They're losing everything because of me. No. They're losing everything because they ditched your graduation for a cruise, then got caught. And instead of apologizing, they tried to destroy your career. Trevor grabs my shoulders. Listen to me. You didn't do this. They did. I want to believe him. But I'm so tired, so defeated. I just want it to stop. Trevor starts going through my mail, which I've been ignoring for weeks. He opens each envelope, stacking them by priority. Bills. More bills. A letter from the hospital about my suspension. Loan statements. Then he stops. Hank. When did you get this? He holds up an envelope with a law firm return address. The postmark is dated 3 weeks ago. I never opened it. Trevor tears it open and reads. His eyes widen. This is from your father's estate attorney, Gerald Crane. You need to read this right now. He hands me the letter. I read it twice before the words fully register. Gerald Crane writes that he recently reviewed the complete terms of my father's will after hearing about the family dispute through community channels. He discovered something he hadn't previously disclosed because the timing wasn't right. My father didn't just leave me the $80,000 life insurance policy for medical school. There was a second provision. My father created a secondary trust, separate from the insurance policy, worth $450,000. It was funded by his retirement account and some investments. The trust had specific instructions. It would be revealed to the family after I completed medical school, and would be distributed among all of us equally, me included. My father wanted to support everyone, but only after I finished my education. However, the trust had a protection clause. If any family member attempted to contest the inheritance, harass me regarding the educational funds, or interfere with my medical career, they would forfeit any claim to the trust. The entire amount would default to me instead. By filing the false police report, sending fraudulent documents to my employers, and attempting to sabotage my career, my mother and aunt triggered that clause. The trust is now mine. All $450,000. But Gerald's letter includes a warning. The family doesn't know about this trust yet. It wasn't meant to be revealed until after I completed residency. If they find out now, they might escalate further. He's asking for my permission to proceed with the transfer and make it official. I look at Trevor. This is real? It's from a law firm. With official letterhead. It's real. $450,000. I could pay off my loans. I could cover legal fees to fight back. I could survive until my residency suspension ends. My father, even after death, is still protecting me. What are you going to do? Trevor asks. I think about my father's face in that hospital bed. His final words. Don't let them make you small. I'm going to fight back, I say. The next morning, I called Gerald Crane. He's relieved to hear from me and confirms everything in the letter. The trust is legitimate. Established 2 months before my father died. The protection clause was my father's idea. He was a quiet man, but he wasn't stupid. He knew exactly what my mother and her sister were capable of. Your father told me, and I quote, "Linda will come after this money. She'll manipulate the kids. She'll try to guilt Hank." I need him protected, Gerald says over the phone. He made me promise not to reveal the trust until you finished residency, because he didn't want them interfering with your training. But the harassment clause changes things. We can proceed now if you want. How long until I can access the funds? I'll file the paperwork today. Given that they've already violated the terms through documented actions, I'd estimate 2 weeks for the transfer to complete. But I can provide a letter of intent immediately, which should satisfy any creditors or attorneys you need to hire. Do it. Within 2 hours, Gerald emails me an official letter stating that I'm the beneficiary of a trust currently in transfer, worth $450,000. I forward it to Marcus Sullivan, the defamation attorney. Marcus calls me 10 minutes later. Is this legitimate? Yes. Then we're in business. I'll file the lawsuit today. We're going after your mother and aunt for defamation, intentional interference with business relations, fraud, conspiracy, and emotional distress. We'll also file a countersuit to their police report with evidence proving the inheritance was legal and designated. Marcus pauses. This is going to get their attention. Are you prepared for that? I'm done hiding. Marcus files everything that afternoon. We're suing for $2 million in damages. The number is strategic. Large enough to be terrifying, justified by the career damage and emotional harm, but will likely settle for much less. The goal is to make them stop. We also file an emergency motion with my hospital, providing evidence that all allegations were fabricated. Marcus includes Aunt Donna's Facebook confession as Exhibit A. By the end of the week, Dr. Holloway calls me personally. Dr. Morrison, the investigation is complete. All allegations have been proven false and malicious. You're reinstated effective immediately. I'm deeply sorry for what you've been through. She pauses. I'm also offering you a position in our chief resident track. You've shown remarkable resilience and professionalism during an impossible situation. We want to invest in you, chief resident. It's a prestigious position. Leadership training. Looks incredible for fellowship applications. I accept immediately. I returned to the hospital the following Monday, 6 weeks after my suspension began. My co-residents welcome me back. Most of them heard the full story through the rumor mill and are supportive. A few are cold, still suspicious, but I don't care. I'm back. News coverage shifts. The Nebraska papers run follow-up stories about the family who tried to destroy their son's medical career out of jealousy. A national medical journal publishes an article about families who sabotage medical trainees. I'm quoted anonymously. The article goes viral in medical circles. Community backlash against my mother, aunt, brother, and sister intensifies exponentially. I hear through distant cousins that they can't go anywhere in town without people whispering. The church congregation stopped inviting them to events. My mother's book club dissolved. Aunt Donna, already suspended from her job, gets officially fired after her employer sees the Facebook confession. I receive messages from extended family on my father's side, people I haven't spoken to in years. They express support and apologize for not intervening earlier. Several admit they always knew my mother was toxic, but didn't want to get involved. My paternal grandmother, Margaret, reaches out through email. She's 78, lives in Florida, and hasn't spoken to my mother in 15 years because of a fight I never knew the details of. She writes, "Your father called me before he died and told me about the will. He knew Linda would make trouble. He also told me about the trust and the protection clause. He was so proud of you, sweetheart. I'm proud of you too. I wish I'd stayed in your life. If you need anything, I'm here." I call her. We talk for 2 hours. She tells me stories about my father as a young man, before he married my mother. She tells me Linda was always manipulative, always the victim, always needed to be the center of attention. She tells me my father almost left her several times but stayed because of us kids. He loved you so much, Margaret says. He wanted better for you than what he had. That's why he protected that money. That's why he wrote that clause. Margaret offers to testify if needed, to provide character witness about my mother's history of manipulation and financial exploitation. I accept. Marcus Sullivan calls with an update. They've been served. Your mother hired an attorney. His name is Richard Vance. He's local to Nebraska, and unfortunately, he's got a reputation. For what? For winning these cases through technicalities and emotional manipulation of judges. He specializes in making sympathetic mothers look like victims. This won't be as easy as I thought. What's he doing? He's filed a motion to dismiss based on insufficient evidence of damages. He's also filed a countersuit, claiming you defamed them through your social media post. And here's the big one. He's challenging the trust. My stomach drops. On what grounds? He's claiming your father wasn't mentally competent when he created the trust and wrote the protection clause. Says the cancer medications impaired his judgment. He's found a medical expert willing to testify to that effect. That's insane. My father was sharp until the last week of his life. I know. But if Vance succeeds, it could invalidate both the educational inheritance and the trust. Everything would go into probate for years. Your mother would have access to the funds during that time, and you'd lose the money you're counting on. The hearing is scheduled for 2 weeks from now. Probate court in Nebraska. I'll have to fly back, face them in person. Trevor offers to come with me for support. I accept. Marcus spends the next 2 weeks preparing. Margaret provides written testimony about my father's mental state. We gather my father's medical records from his oncologist, but Marcus is worried. Vance is good at what he does. He warns me the night before we fly out. He's going to paint you as a greedy son who manipulated a dying man. He's going to make your mother look like a grieving widow denied her husband's wishes. He's going to make the judge sympathetic to her. The truth is on our side. The truth doesn't always win in court, Marcus says grimly. Trevor and I fly to Nebraska the next morning. We rent a car and drive to the courthouse in my hometown. I haven't been back since Christmas, over a year ago. Seeing the familiar streets makes my chest tight. We arrive at the courthouse an hour early. Marcus meets us outside. They're already here. Don't engage. Don't even look at them. We walk into the courtroom. My mother, aunt, brother, and sister sit on the opposite side with Richard Vance, a silver-haired man in an expensive suit. My mother is dressed modestly. Hair pulled back. Minimal makeup. She looks like a grieving widow. She's playing the part perfectly. She sees me and starts crying immediately. Amber puts her arm around her. Chad stares at me with pure hatred. The judge enters. Proceedings begin. For the next 3 hours, I listen to Vance systematically dismantle my father's intentions. He paints me as ambitious and cold. He presents the medical expert who testifies that cancer medications can cause cognitive impairment. He has my mother testify about how my father was confused near the end, how I isolated him from the family, how I pressured him to leave me everything. It's all lies. But she's convincing. She cries on the stand. She talks about how much she loved my father, how hard his death was, how she just wants what's fair for all her children. Marcus cross-examines, but Vance coached her well. She doesn't break. Then I take the stand. Vance goes after me viciously. He brings up my viral social media post, twists it to make me seem vindictive. He questions why I didn't try to work things out privately. He makes me look like an ungrateful son who abandoned his struggling family. Isn't it true, Vance asks, that you cut off all contact with your mother after she made one mistake? She didn't make a mistake, I say. She deliberately missed my graduation, mocked my career, and then tried to destroy my professional reputation. Because you humiliated her publicly first. You posted about her online for the world to see. I didn't name her, but everyone knew it was her. You knew that would happen. Vance leans forward. Isn't it true that you've always looked down on your family? That you thought you were better than them because you went to medical school? No. Isn't it true that you resented having to financially support yourself and wanted revenge when they couldn't make your graduation? They could make it. They chose a cruise instead. They chose to take a family vacation during a difficult time. And you punished them for it. It goes on like this. By the time I step down, I feel destroyed. Marcus does his best in closing arguments, but the judge seems swayed by my mother's tears. We break for recess. Trevor and I sit in the hallway. Marcus paces, looking worried. The judge is sympathetic to her. I can see it. We might lose this. I put my head in my hands. After everything, I'm going to lose. My mother will win. She'll get the money. She'll get away with everything. Excuse me? Dr. Morrison? I look up. A woman in her 50s stands in front of me, well-dressed, professional. I don't recognize her. I'm Dr. Elena Rodriguez, she says. I was your father's oncologist. Dr. Rodriguez sits down beside me on the courthouse bench. She's holding a leather folder and looks determined. I saw the news coverage about this hearing this morning, she says. I didn't know your mother was contesting the will until I happened to catch a segment on the local news while visiting my sister in Lincoln. I drove 2 hours to get here. You were my father's doctor? I remember her vaguely from hospital visits, a kind woman with a calm demeanor. For his entire treatment, 15 months from diagnosis to death, she opens her folder. I have his complete medical records, full documentation of his cognitive function throughout treatment. He was sharp, Dr. Morrison, remarkably sharp. Even at the end, until his final 72 hours, he was oriented, coherent, and mentally sound. Marcus leans forward. Can you testify to that? I can do better than testify. Dr. Rodriguez pulls out a small digital recorder. Your father and I had extensive conversations during his treatment. He knew the prognosis wasn't good. He wanted to make sure his wishes were documented. With his permission, I recorded several of our sessions for medical documentation purposes. He was very specific about wanting his mental clarity recorded. She presses play. My father's voice fills the courthouse hallway. It's been 4 years since I heard it. My eyes immediately burn with tears. This is Richard Morrison. Recording session dated March 15th. 4 months before death. My father's voice says, clear and strong. Dr. Rodriguez has informed me that my cancer is terminal. Estimated 6 to 9 months. I'm recording this to document my mental state and my intentions regarding my estate. The recording continues. My father discusses his will in detail. He explains why he's leaving the educational fund to me. Hank earned this opportunity. He worked harder than anyone I've ever known. My wife, Linda, will say I'm not thinking clearly, but I've never been more certain of anything. She'll waste this money on cruises and nonsense. Hank will use it to become a doctor. That's what I want. He talks about the secondary trust, the protection clause. I'm including this clause because I know Linda. She'll try to guilt Hank. She'll try to turn the other kids against him. She can't help herself. This clause protects him from her manipulation. Dr. Rodriguez has 3 more recordings. Each one shows my father lucid, articulate, and emphatic about his wishes. In one recording from 2 months before he died, he discusses his concerns directly. Linda already tried to convince the hospital to declare me incompetent so she could control my medical decisions, he says on the tape. She wanted to put me in hospice early so she could start accessing accounts. Dr. Rodriguez documented it. I need everyone to know. I am of sound mind. These are my wishes. Marcus looks at Dr. Rodriguez. You documented her trying to have him declared incompetent? It's in his medical chart. She visited the hospital once, without Richard's knowledge, and spoke to a social worker, asking about the process for medical power of attorney when a patient is cognitively impaired. She was trying to set the groundwork. When Richard found out, he was furious. He specifically added documentation, refusing any power of attorney to her. This destroys their entire case, Marcus says. We need to get you on the stand. Court resumes. The judge is about to deliver his preliminary thoughts when Marcus stands. Your Honor, I have a crucial witness who just arrived. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the decedent's oncologist. She has medical records and documented evidence directly relevant to the question of mental competency. Richard Vance objects immediately. This witness wasn't disclosed. This is ambush tactics. The witness just arrived, Your Honor, Marcus counters. She came voluntarily after seeing news coverage. Given that the central question is the decedent's mental state, her expert testimony is critical. The judge allows it. Dr. Rodriguez takes the stand. Marcus establishes her credentials first. Board-certified oncologist, 20 years of experience, attending physician for my father's entire treatment. Then he asks about my father's mental state. Richard Morrison remained cognitively intact throughout his illness, Dr. Rodriguez testifies. His medications did not cause impairment. He was oriented to person, place, and time until his final week. I have extensive documentation. She presents the medical records. Page after page of cognitive assessments, nursing notes, physician observations. Every entry confirms. Patient alert, oriented, decision-making capacity intact. Then Marcus introduces the recordings. Vance objects strenuously, but the judge overrules. The recordings are played in open court. Hearing my father's voice in that courtroom, explaining his wishes so clearly and firmly, breaks something open in my chest. But I keep my face neutral. Across the aisle, my mother has gone pale. She knows what's coming. In the final recording, my father's statement about Linda trying to have him declared incompetent plays clearly. The judge's expression changes immediately. He looks at my mother with new eyes. Marcus questions Dr. Rodriguez about this incident. Can you describe what happened when Linda Morrison approached the hospital staff? Mrs. Morrison visited without her husband's knowledge. She spoke to our social worker and asked about procedures for obtaining medical power of attorney when a patient becomes unable to make decisions. She specifically asked how to prove incompetency. When Mr. Morrison learned about this visit, he was extremely upset. He told me, and I quote, "She wants to control everything, even my death." He then specifically documented in his advance directive that she was not to have any medical decision-making authority. The courtroom is dead silent. Vance tries to recover during cross-examination, but there's nothing he can do. The evidence is ironclad. My father was competent. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he was actively protecting his assets from my mother's manipulation. Marcus delivers closing arguments. Your Honor, we have definitive proof that Richard Morrison was of sound mind when he created his estate plan. We have proof that he anticipated his wife would challenge his wishes. We have proof that she attempted to have him declared incompetent during his lifetime. The trust and its protection clause are valid. The beneficiaries who violated that clause forfeit their rights. The law is clear. The judge doesn't take long to deliberate. He rules from the bench. Based on the evidence presented, particularly the medical records and recorded statements from the decedent, I find that Richard Morrison was of sound mind when creating his estate plan. The will and trust are valid. The protection clause was clearly intentional and carefully considered. The actions of Linda Morrison and Donna Fletcher constitute clear violations of that clause. They forfeit all claims to the trust. The entire amount defaults to Dr. Hank Morrison as specified. Additionally, I'm sanctioning Mrs. Morrison and Miss Fletcher for bringing this frivolous challenge. They will pay Dr. Morrison's legal fees for this proceeding. He bangs his gavel. It's over. My mother makes a sound like a wounded animal. Vance tries to console her, but she pushes him away. She stands and looks directly at me across the courtroom. "I'm still your mother," she shouts. "You can't just abandon family." Trevor grabs my arm, worried I'll engage, but I stand calmly and walk toward the courtroom doors. My mother follows, still shouting, "Hank, we can fix this. Please. I made mistakes, but I'm still your mother." I stop at the doorway, turn back, look at her directly for the first time in months. "You abandoned me when you chose a cruise over the biggest achievement of my life," I say quietly. Every word is measured. "You taught me that DNA doesn't make someone family. Loyalty does. And you were never loyal to anyone but yourself." I walk out of the courthouse. She doesn't follow. 3 months later, I'm standing in a different auditorium. Not for my graduation this time. For something else entirely. The scholarship ceremony at the University of Washington Medical School is packed with students, faculty, and donors. I'm here as the founder of the Richard Morrison Memorial Scholarship Fund for first-generation medical students. I used $200,000 from the trust to establish it. The fund specifically supports students whose families don't support their medical education. It covers what insurance and loans don't touch: graduation expenses, travel for residency interviews, professional clothing, and emergency funds for students facing family financial sabotage. The first recipient is a young woman from Montana, whose parents disowned her for choosing medical school over taking over the family ranch. She's crying as she accepts the award. I shake her hand and tell her what my father told me. Don't let anyone make you small. After the ceremony, Trevor finds me in the crowd. He's been my constant support through everything. His friendship never wavered. "That was really something," he says. "Your dad would be proud." I hope so. We head to dinner at a nice restaurant, a celebration for both of us. Trevor just got accepted to a cardiology fellowship at Johns Hopkins. I'm in the running for a chief resident position that will set me up for any fellowship I want. We're both thriving. My phone buzzes during dinner. An email from Dr. Holloway. She's offering me the chief resident position officially. I accept before dessert arrives. Over the past 3 months, my life has transformed completely. The trust gave me financial security I'd never imagined. I paid off all my medical school loans. I put money aside for residency expenses and future fellowship applications. I invested the rest conservatively for long-term stability. Marcus Sullivan became more than my attorney. He's a friend now. We meet for coffee occasionally to discuss how the lawsuit against my mother and aunt is progressing. They settled out of court last month for $120,000, paid over 5 years. I donated every penny to the scholarship fund. My paternal grandmother Margaret and I talk every Sunday. She's become the family I needed. She tells me stories about my father, keeps his memory alive in ways my mother never did. She's planning to visit Seattle next month for my birthday. Dr. Elena Rodriguez and I stay in touch. She's mentoring me as I consider oncology as a specialty. Working with cancer patients, like my father, feels right, like honoring his memory in a meaningful way. My residency cohort knows the full story now. Instead of judgment, I found solidarity. Turns out, several of them have complicated family situations too. We've formed an informal support group for residents dealing with family trauma. It's helping all of us. I hear through distant relatives that my mother, aunt, brother, and sister had to move to a different town. The social consequences in our small Nebraska community became unbearable. My mother works at a grocery store now. Aunt Donna does bookkeeping for a small business. Chad bounces between jobs. Amber's engagement never recovered. They sent one final letter about a month ago, asking for money. They're struggling financially. They wondered if I might help since I have the trust now. They said family should support family. I returned the letter unopened with a note. You taught me what family means. Thank you for the lesson. I don't feel guilty. I feel free. Last week, I was walking through the hospital when I passed the auditorium where we have grand rounds presentations. I glanced inside and saw rows of seats. For just a moment, I remembered standing at my graduation, looking at those 8 empty VIP seats. But then I kept walking. That moment doesn't define me anymore. What defines me is what I built afterward. The career I'm creating, the patients I'm helping, the scholarship fund that will support dozens of students who were in my position, the chosen family of friends, mentors, and colleagues who show up when it matters. My father's voice plays in my head sometimes, from those recordings. Don't let them make you small, son. I'm not small. I'm exactly who he hoped I'd become. Yesterday, I received my official white coat for chief resident. It has my name embroidered on it. Hank Morrison, MD, Chief Resident Internal Medicine. I took a photo and posted it online with a simple caption. For everyone who said I was just pretending, still here. Still a doctor. Still thriving. The post got thousands of supportive comments from medical students, residents, and people who followed my story from the beginning. But my favorite comment came from a first-year medical student. Your story helped me set boundaries with my family. Thank you for showing it's possible to succeed anyway. That's what matters. Not revenge. Not proving anyone wrong. But showing others in similar situations that they can survive. That they can build lives worth living, despite families who tear them down. I'm sitting in my apartment now. The same one I almost lost during my suspension. But it feels different now. It feels like home. My diploma is framed on the wall next to my father's photo. My white coat hangs by the door. My acceptance letter for chief resident sits on my desk. Tomorrow, I start a new rotation in oncology. I'll meet patients facing the same disease my father had. I'll treat them with the knowledge he paid for, with the compassion he taught me, with the determination he inspired. And I'll do it, knowing that the best revenge isn't destroying the people who hurt you. It's becoming so successful, so fulfilled, so genuinely happy, that their opinions stop mattering entirely. My phone rings. It's Trevor, asking if I want to grab breakfast before our shift tomorrow. I say, yes. We make plans. We laugh about something silly. It's normal, easy, uncomplicated. This is what family should feel like. I think about the 27-year-old version of me, standing alone at graduation, devastated and humiliated. If I could talk to him now, I'd tell him, this pain will transform into something powerful. These people who hurt you will teach you exactly who you don't want to become. And the family you build for yourself will be stronger than the one you were born into. The empty seats don't hurt anymore. They're just seats. And I've filled my life with people who actually show up. That's the real victory. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to set boundaries with family members who didn't support your dreams? How did you find the strength to choose yourself over their expectations? I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else who's struggling with a similar situation right now. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more stories about overcoming adversity and building the life you deserve. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it's okay to walk away from toxic relationships, even with family. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is creating distance from people who refuse to celebrate your success. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that you're stronger than you think, that your dreams are valid regardless of who supports them, and that sometimes the family we choose is more powerful than the family we're born into. Keep fighting for your future. You're worth it.